Hi, everybody. My name is Dorothy. I'm 73 years old. I've been retired for almost 8 years now. I worked as a librarian for 32 years, and I thought I was smart enough to see through any kind of trick or lie. But I was wrong. I'm sitting here today wearing this mask because I can't show my face. Not to my neighbors, not to my church group, not even to some of my own family members. The shame I feel is so heavy that some days I don't even want to leave my house. I lost $47,000. That's almost everything I had saved for the rest of my life. And the worst part? I gave it to them willingly. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was protecting myself. I thought the person on the phone was trying to help me. For 3 months after it happened, I didn't tell anyone. Not my daughter, not my son, not my closest friend, Margaret, who I've known for 40 years. I just sat in my living room every night, staring at the wall, wondering how I could have been so stupid. It started on a Tuesday morning in March. I remember because I'd just gotten back from my water aerobics class at the senior center. I was making myself a cup of tea when my phone rang. The caller ID said it was from Amazon. I shop on Amazon all the time. Books. Mostly, sometimes vitamins or things for the house. So I answered. The man on the phone was very polite. He had a slight accent, but his English was clear. He said his name was David, and he was calling from Amazon's fraud department. He told me there had been unusual activity on my account. Someone in California had tried to order 2 laptops and an iPad using my account. The total was over $3,000. My heart started racing right away. I don't live in California. I live in Ohio. And I would never spend that kind of money on electronics I don't even know how to use. David told me not to worry. He said they had flagged the order and stopped it before it went through. But he needed to verify some information with me to secure my account. He asked for my name, my address, the last 4 digits of my credit card. Everything seemed normal. I'd gotten calls like this before from my bank, so I didn't think twice about it. Then he said something that made my stomach drop. He told me that the person who tried to use my account had also attempted to access my bank account. He said they had my social security number. He said this wasn't just about Amazon anymore. This was identity theft. I felt the room start to spin. I sat down at my kitchen table and gripped the phone tighter. David's voice became more serious. He said he was going to transfer me to someone at the Federal Trade Commission. He said they handle cases like this. He told me to stay on the line and not hang up, because if I did, the criminals might be alerted and they'd drain my accounts immediately. I was terrified. I didn't hang up. After a few seconds of hold music, another man came on the line. He said his name was Agent Richard Thompson. He had a deep, official-sounding voice. He told me he was with the FTC's Fraud and Identity Theft Division. He knew my full name. He knew my address. He even knew the name of my bank. That's what made me believe him. Agent Thompson told me that my case was very serious. He said there was a criminal network operating out of Southeast Asia that had stolen the identities of over 200 Americans. And I was one of them. He said they'd already opened credit cards in my name. They'd taken out loans. They'd even filed fraudulent tax returns. I started crying. I asked him what I should do. He told me to calm down. He said he was going to help me, but I had to follow his instructions exactly. He said the criminals were monitoring my accounts, and if I contacted my bank directly or told anyone about this, they would know, and they'd disappear with everything I had. He told me the only way to protect my money was to move it to a secure government account temporarily. He said once the investigation was complete, every penny would be returned to me. I didn't understand how that worked, but he sounded so sure of himself. He sounded like he did this every day, and I was so scared of losing everything that I just listened. He told me to go to my bank and withdraw as much cash as I could. He said to tell the bank teller I was doing home renovations and needed the money for contractors. He said not to mention anything about fraud or the FTC because the criminals might have people working inside the bank. That should have been the moment I hung up. That should have been the moment I realized something was wrong. But I didn't. I was too afraid. I drove to my bank that same afternoon. My hands were shaking the whole way there. When I walked up to the teller, a young woman named Jessica, who I'd seen many times before, I told her I needed to withdraw $15,000. She looked surprised. She asked me if everything was okay. I repeated the line Agent Thompson had told me to say. I said I was having some work done on my house and needed to pay the contractors in cash. She hesitated. She asked if I was sure. She said that was a lot of cash to carry around. I told her I was sure. I just wanted to get the money and leave before I started crying in front of her. She processed the withdrawal. She counted out the bills and put them in an envelope. I thanked her and walked out as quickly as I could. When I got back to my car, I called Agent Thompson. He answered immediately. He asked if I had the money. I told him yes. He told me to drive to a nearby shopping center and wait for further instructions. He said a courier from the U.S. Treasury would meet me there to collect the cash and deposit it into the secure government account. I sat in my car in the parking lot for almost an hour. Agent Thompson stayed on the phone with me the whole time. He made small talk. He asked about my family. He told me about his own mother, who he said was about my age. It felt so real. Finally, he told me the courier couldn't come in person because of security reasons. He said I needed to go to a Bitcoin ATM instead. He said the government was using Bitcoin now for secure transactions because it couldn't be traced by criminals. I'd never heard of a Bitcoin ATM. I didn't even really know what Bitcoin was, but he walked me through it step by step. He told me to drive to a convenience store about 10 minutes away. He said there was a Bitcoin machine inside. He stayed on the phone and guided me through the entire process. I stood in front of that machine for nearly 30 minutes, feeding cash into it while he read me a long code to type in. People walked past me, a teenager buying chips, an older man getting lottery tickets. Nobody said anything. When the machine finally accepted all the money, Agent Thompson told me I'd done a great job. He said the funds were now secure. He said I'd receive a confirmation letter in the mail within 2 weeks, and my money would be returned within 30 days. He told me not to tell anyone about this, not even my family, because the investigation was still ongoing. He said if I talked, it could compromise everything. I thanked him. I actually thanked him. And then I went home. 2 days later, he called again. He said the criminals had tried to access another one of my accounts. He said I needed to withdraw more money to keep it safe. I went back to the bank. This time I took out $12,000. Then a week after that, he called again, and again, and again. Each time I went to a different bank branch. Each time I fed more cash into those machines. Over the course of 5 weeks, I gave them $47,000. The calls stopped in late April. Agent Thompson stopped answering. The number I'd been calling went dead. I waited for the confirmation letter. It never came. I waited for my money to be returned. It never came. By the middle of May, I finally accepted the truth. I'd been scammed. I sat on my couch and cried for 3 hours straight. I felt like the stupidest person in the world. I didn't tell my daughter until June. When I finally did, she cried too, not because of the money, but because I'd been suffering alone for so long. She helped me file a report with the real Federal Trade Commission. We contacted the bank. We contacted the police. But the money was gone. Once it goes into Bitcoin, they told me, it's almost impossible to trace. I've spent the last year trying to forgive myself. Some days are better than others. Some days I can get through without thinking about it. But most days, I still feel that heavy weight of shame sitting on my chest. I know what people think when they hear stories like mine. They think, I would never fall for that. They think, how could someone be so naive? But these people are professionals. They know exactly what to say. They know how to scare you. They know how to make you trust them. And they prey on people like me, people who are alone, people who are scared of losing what little they have left. If you're listening to this and you're my age, or you have parents or grandparents who are my age, please listen carefully. No government agency will ever ask you to withdraw cash and put it into a Bitcoin machine. No legitimate company will ever tell you not to talk to your family or your bank. If someone calls you and tries to scare you, hang up. If someone tells you your accounts are in danger, hang up and call your bank directly using the number on your card. If something feels even a little bit wrong, trust that feeling. Slow down. Take a breath. Call someone you trust. I wish I had. I'm wearing this mask today because I'm still ashamed, but I'm telling my story because I don't want this to happen to anyone else. If sharing what happened to me can save even one person from making the same mistake I did, then maybe some good can come from all of this pain. My name is Dorothy. I'm 73 years old, and I was scammed. But I'm still here, and I'm still fighting.